Good afternoon. I'm glad you're here today. You are here for our wellness workshop number 2. This is mindful movement. Who was here last week by a show of hands? Very good. Glad you came back and welcome to the new folks. Before we begin, if a fire alarm sounds, please remain seated. Do not use the elevators. Wait for a staff member to direct you and go to a red pole once outside. So here's our lovely title page, Mindful Movement. And for those who don't know, my name is Carrie Ritchie. I am your Health and Fitness Director. And I will be honest, mindful movement is not one of my strengths. It's something I am personally working on myself. So I'm happy to kind of delve into this topic for my own enjoyment and benefit, and hopefully it will help you all as well. So I do want to have some discussion today, and we'll have some movement, but I put that little quote on the bottom there because I thought it was kind of funny, and it fit my life perfectly. The time to relax is when you don't have time for it. I'm very guilty of saying that. All right, so for those who were here last week, anybody want to share something they remember or something that maybe stood out? Put you on the spot.
Well, mindfulness is what you are, and meditation is something you do.
All right, Betty said, mindfulness is what you are, meditation is what you do. I like that. Anyone else? You like my picture there? Mindful versus mindful, being in the present. I was having a little too much fun finding graphics. All right, well, Betty, thank you. You summed it up quite well. So as a reminder, that mindfulness, as Lori mentioned at the beginning last week, it's a quality, state of mind, one of my favorite words, awareness, because I also like to use that a lot in fitness classes. So as I was doing some more reading, I liked these 2 points that came from the National Institute of Health. Because for me, as I mentioned, I'm not really good at mindfulness. And a lot of people probably aren't, because it takes attention, takes focus, takes practice, doesn't come easy. So I just wanted to remind us that paying attention to what's going on right this second can be hard. I think it's important that we acknowledge that. Whether it's working, retirement, health, family, money, there is social media, things happening in the news and politics. There is plenty of things to occupy our mind. So if we spend more time thinking about what's coming up in the future, dwelling on what happened yesterday or the meal we didn't like yesterday, then we can miss out on the present. And we can miss out on the joy that we can find in that moment with each other, with our lives here at Springmore. So along with fitness, I always tell people it's never too late to get stronger, to get moving. Same thing with mindfulness. It is possible to train yourself. There's hope for all of us, myself included. So even if it's hard, it's possible. And it's a really great thing to bring attention to that, becoming aware of what's going on, not only around you, but inside of you. And I like Lori pointed out in the handout from last week about being accepting, non-judgmental. Those are important qualities because I like to fix things, I like to improve things, but I think the important aspect of mindfulness is being aware and accepting in that moment what you're feeling, what's happening, and learning how to acknowledge that. All right, crowd interaction. Can you all tell me some different ways that you can practice mindfulness? Yes, Margaret. So Margaret likes to be in a quiet place and close her eyes. Okay? Jane. Turn off your cell phone. I'm guilty of that too. Yes. And the TV. Yep. Get rid of the TV, all the distractions. Mid.
I call my mindfulness centering prayer.
Centering prayer.
Essentially, it's letting go of everything else in my mind and just being still and listening.
So centering prayer, letting go of everything in the mind, and listening. I'm sure Lori might go over more of that next week, so come back for more of that. Anyone else? Other ideas of how you can, different ways to practice mindfulness?
Walk in nature.
Walk in nature. All right, so you've said some of these, a few other things. Meditation, and meditation can be different things. It can be sitting in that quiet room without our cell phones. It can be a walking meditation in nature. Breathing, like I had you start with, when we're going to do some more of that. Has anybody ever tried a body scan exercise?
A what?
Body scan.
What's that?
Yeah? Oh, excellent. So we're going to try that a little later, but it's bringing awareness. You're kind of taking a mental scan of your body, and that will also be on one of your handouts to take home so you can practice it some more at home. Has anybody heard of progressive muscle relaxation? Some nodding, some no. Okay. What do you think that means, just by the title? So she said it's similar to the body scan. Yes, because you are kind of scanning over your whole body. The slight difference with this one is that you are actually tensing and relaxing different areas, where a body scan, you're typically more just being aware in the moment. You can practice mindfulness with your eating, which I need to do more of. Mindful movement, which is our main topic today. We'll go into more detail. Any personal testimonies, stories, experiences that you've done with any mindful practices and how it maybe has helped you or a good experience, anything anybody wants to share? Jane.
When I first came to Springmore, I did the yoga, which I had never done before. One of the things I realized about it, it was 45 minutes of paying attention to that exercise and not worrying about unpacking this box or hanging that picture. And I came to appreciate just letting go of everything that was crowding my mind as well as the body.
Wonderful. Quick synopsis. She did yoga when she moved here, and that really made her focus so she didn't have to think about the moving, the boxes, and all the things that come to our minds when we move. Great example. Any other personal, mindful experiences? Could be you or someone you know. Emily.
Which of those could it be? When you go to bed, when I go to bed at night, a lot of times I have a lot on my mind, and it's hard for me to just relax and go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that stays with me for probably an hour. I just can't get my mind relaxed or whatever
Mm-hmm.
to sort of forget.
I feel like that's common for women. I don't know if that's true for all you women out there, but I know for me, she said it's hard to get her mind to shut off when you go to bed. So you could try different techniques. My husband was having some sleeping problems recently, so I encouraged him to try some apps. Try the Calm app where it takes you through a guided meditation. It could be a body scan. It could be the progressive muscle relaxation. You could try different techniques, and one you might enjoy more than the other, or one might work better for you. So it's a matter of trying and accepting. That's my husband would get frustrated. Well, I can't fall asleep yet. I'm like, well, it's not going to work because now you're mad. So you got to accept what's happening and try something else. Alex.
I suffer from white coat syndrome.
White coat syndrome.
You can get everybody out of the room. Take some deep breaths. It does seem to help, and it does help when they're taking your blood pressure.
Yes.
Get out of the room long enough to take some deep breaths.
Yes. So her example was going to the doctor, getting that stress and anxiety, and getting people out of the room and trying to relax your breathing so you can have better results with your blood pressure. Emily, did you have something?
Yeah, yeah. My form of meditation is when I'm working with my hands. I do various crafts, and I also do jigsaw puzzles. Now, it might seem very strange that could be something where that you could occupy your mind can flow.
Mm-hmm.
While you're doing this, and I sometimes I do have the radio on while I'm doing these things, and I listen to music or something like that. But I find that I am at peace, and I feel as if sometimes I feel as if I'm in touch with the divine. I mean, it's just I can flow at those times, and it's not the same as when I go to bed. Sometimes I lecture myself about something, and then it's everything is shot. And so but I don't do that when I have my hands busy and I'm doing something that I love to do.
Thank you for sharing that. Quick synopsis for Emily. It's when she's using her hands. And I think that brings the point that mindfulness is very personal. So that obviously is a testament to something you enjoy, what helps your mind and your body really connect, what helps you relax and be present in that moment and you're not distracted. Thank you. Mid.
For me, it sometimes helps to select a sacred word and repeat that word very slowly in my mind.
Okay. Picking a sacred word and repeating it in your mind, and that could be in the morning. I'm sure it could be several times during the day, and that's a great thing as well. Ruth.
We've been doing, I was so happy when I first came here and I finally found out that we did the centering prayer. And a lot of people, it's not in any of our literature when you write, and so it's by word of mouth. But I have been doing it for 40 years, but I was so grateful to find that we have a group here, that we can do it together, and it's been very, very helpful.
Excellent. So another comment about the centering prayer, which again, Lori and Justin can...
When is that?
Lori will address it next week when the centering prayer takes place. So a quick testimony for my family and how I kind of started thinking about meditation and sleep and health was for my son, because he had some really bad night terrors during the pandemic, and it was awful and scary, and was having trouble sleeping. So thanks to the internet and YouTube, I found these mindful kids' bedtime stories. And 3 years later, we still play those every single night. And it helps them. And even my mom, they had a sleepover, and she said, I loved it. I laid there, and I was so relaxed. So it's nice to, sometimes you're forced to find a technique, but it can be a really great thing when you find something that works. So we are going to try some mindfulness and meditation right now. So I encourage you to start to get comfortable in your chair. It's going to be a video, kind of a guided, it's not my voice, it'll be somebody else's voice, and just 3 minutes of your day, and let's give it a try.
Close your eyes and find a comfortable position. During this brief meditation, I'll ask you to pay attention to what's happening inside your body right now. You'll find that you don't have to change anything. Just observe. Direct your attention towards your stream of thoughts. What thoughts are traveling through your mind right now? Can you give them a name? Notice your feelings. What feelings are present in your body in this moment? Maybe sadness, curiosity, anger. If you can, try to give them a name. Try to notice if there are other kinds of sensations present in your body right now, like tingling, tension, vibrations. Just observe them and let them be. Now shift your focus and pay close attention to your breath. Notice how it feels to breathe in and breathe out. Try to give your breath your undivided attention for a few seconds. Lastly, try to expand your focus and take in the whole body. Notice that you're sitting here with your whole body. You become aware of your posture, your facial expression, your feelings and other sensations. Hold them in awareness, just as they are. Notice that you don't have to struggle to change anything. It's okay to let them be just as they are right now. When you feel ready, open your eyes and return to your session.
I hope you enjoyed that. All right, so now that you're hopefully relaxed and present here with us, let's really think about what mindful movement looks like. What do you think mindful movement means to you? There's no right or wrong answers.
Just being still.
Being still. Tai Chi. Steady pace. Being aware of your walking. Mm-hmm.
Focusing on your surroundings rather than being on your phone or even listening to music sometimes is distracting.
Mm-hmm. Focusing on your surroundings, kind of using your senses rather than being distracted. Why do you think we should do mindful movement? What do you think are some of the benefits, or what have you personally experienced?
Brings peace.
Brings peace. Emily? Not competitive. I like that because I'm a competitive person. But that's a very good statement.
Brings you closer
brings you closer to God.
It's
Fun.
fun.
Mm-hmm. Relaxing. Mm-hmm. All wonderful answers. So one of my favorite topics as your fitness director is balance when it pertains to fall prevention, but also the balance of life and our quality of life. And I like this little picture here that wellness is a balance of our body, mind, and spirit. Because if we have a really fit body, but our mind is in a terrible place, we're not going to be very well, and vice versa. But I would also like to bring up the point that mindful movement can bring you better balance with fall prevention. So 2 of the big opportunities here with mindful movement, if you like to do things in a group setting, we have yoga and Tai Chi, and I see several in the room who have participated or are participating in those. And you can do them here. You can do them on your own. It can be your own individual practice. You can do them online. There's so many great resources available for us. But I like how it said that balance is more than just the physical attribute. It's the state of harmony between your mind and your body. I'm sure everybody's heard of yoga and Tai Chi in this room. But we know it's an ancient practice, and it's rooted in that mindfulness, that awareness. And it can really be very powerful for not only the harmony of the mind and the body, but also for balance and stability, which is so important for our community here, because we all know that we do not want to fall. All right, a little more about yoga. Raise your hand if you love yoga. Awesome. So we know it's holistic, and it's a lot about the breath and the movement. And what I enjoy about yoga is that, along with the mindfulness aspect, is that as you're trying to focus on your movement and your breath, I know I am very guilty of my mind going to many other places. But then you bring it back. It's that accepting, acknowledging, I've had that thought. Now I'm coming back to whatever posture or pose or breath work I'm doing in that moment. You may have heard it called moving meditation. I like that phrase because you are typically moving through a posture or through a series of exercises, and it's really being aware of what your body's feeling, if your joints and your muscles are happy with that movement, and if they're not, modifying. And I think it really helps us, if we struggle with mindfulness, I think yoga helps us improve that practice. And of course, we all know yoga is a form of exercise. So as you're going through those movements and postures and exercises, if you are consistent, like with any form of exercise, you can see improvements with your strength, flexibility, range of motion, and balance, all of that. And the great thing is it can be done in a chair, standing, on the floor. Again, it's personal to what you can do and what you like. Tai Chi. Raise your hand if you love Tai Chi. Yay. So this is a Chinese martial art, and it's all about the qi, the energy. And again, similar with yoga, you're trying to focus on what your body's doing. And what I like about Tai Chi and how it relates to that balance and fall prevention is some people think Tai Chi is easy, too slow. That's too easy for me. But it's really complex, and it takes a very keen sense of awareness to be able to know where you're shifting your weight, how you're stepping, where you're moving your arms, and typically you're learning a series of movements in a sequence. So it's challenging the mind as well. Any comments about your yoga or Tai Chi practices that you want to share? mid.
Both yoga and Tai Chi, for me, are movement to another culture. And it's hard for me to think in Chinese, and it's hard for me to think in India mindsets, but that's part of it. It's a gift.
I like that. He said it's a gift. It kind of connects you with another culture as you're doing these practices that don't always come natural in our American society. Mm-hmm.
I find chair yoga very relaxing
Mm-hmm.
when we are at our end of the class. My whole body is relaxed.
Yes. So Louise said that when she's finished with a chair yoga session, she's relaxed. So you're feeling the actual physical benefits, not just the mind, but the entire body, the muscles. Some people, it can help with pain. Not that it's curing your arthritis pain, but if you are being mindful and focusing your attention on other things, then often we're not as aware of the pain. Anne.
Often I would do Tai Chi outside. One time I'll never forget, it was just a wonderful series of movements, and I heard a heron down at the pond, and it's an awful sound, and I sounded back to him or her, and noticed her fly closer. She made a call, I made a call. She came all the way up from the pond in different steps, very deliberate, and landed on the peak of the roof behind me and looked down at me and said to herself, nah. It was an ethereal moment for me. Just what in the world?
I don't think can't do a good summary of that one, but thank you for sharing that. Any other personal testimonies with yoga or Tai Chi? Emily?
I feel when I can give myself into our Tai Chi practice, I am leaving this world in a way. I am transported to another plane of awareness, and it's very, I don't know, it's very centering.
So Emily said when she's able to participate in the Tai Chi here, it kind of takes you to another place, and it's very centering for her, which is great if you are stressed, if you're having health issues, if you're worried about a spouse or family member. I think that's one of the great benefits of Springmore. Obviously, we have plenty of social opportunities to stay connected, but in these classes where we can truly impact our mind and our body through these practices.
And I want to emphasize, in our class, we love each other and we trust each other, and we don't care whether we make mistakes or not. We are, in a way, this is a kind of group meditation that we become this hard to explain entity of many parts.
Yes.
That we're together, and I don't think that practicing Tai Chi by myself is nearly as good as practicing it when I'm with others. I just need that sense of group to do it. I mean, I could do it a lot if I wanted to by myself, but it's just going through the motions. I love the fact that we're together and doing this together.
Thank you for sharing that. It's a very good point.
We laugh a lot.
I do hear them laugh when I'm in my office when they have class. But Emily shared that their Tai Chi class, it's more than just a class, and she enjoys that group aspect. And I think that's an important point, that with any mindfulness, meditation, yoga, Tai Chi, even regular fitness classes, we can do all those things on our own, and they can still give us benefits. But there's something about being in a group and having that community, which I think you're all aware, And that's one reason you move to a place like Springmore, because you want that community. And especially through the pandemic and seeing what isolation can do to us physically and mentally, it's more important than ever to maintain those bonds of community and group activities that bring us that joy and peace and all those benefits. So thank you.
During the pandemic, we did Tai Chi on Zoom,
Mm-hmm.
and it was not the same because we missed the community of being together.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So great point that technology is helpful. You can do things over Zoom, but it still doesn't replace that in-person connection. And I 100% agree. We are created to be in community with one another. So oh yes, Louise.
Back to fitness exercise classes. They get to be a habit. You go because you always go at 10 o'clock in the morning or 9 o'clock or whatever time. And the group camaraderie is good. And we're always reminded, do what you can. If you can't, it's all right. And Monday morning, I thought, oh, I just can't do it. And then I thought, okay, big girl, you're going anyway. So I went and felt 100% better after spending my 30 minutes in class.
Thank you for sharing that.
I would suggest it for everyone.
Yes.
With our new residents, I always hope that they will put their foot out the door and come join a group,
Yes.
get to know people.
Two key points out of that, I would say, is that it's a habit. So even mindfulness, like for me, it's challenging right now, but I hope that it becomes more of a habit for me. Our exercise classes, routines, whatever you do can become a habit. And then that social aspect, that camaraderie, you really do form, and with any group, centering prayer, discussion groups, even your dining, your eating groups, you have that special sense of camaraderie in those groups. But one other quick thing I wanted to touch on about the mindful movement and the physical benefit that I think is so important is that awareness. And the fancy word is proprioception, being aware of where your body is in space. So if you come to my Wednesday classes, you'll often hear me talk about that. Feel your feet, feel what your ankles are doing. Sometimes we close our eyes during exercises, so then you have to use other senses to know where your body is and what you're doing. But through yoga and Tai Chi and other forms of exercise and movement, it can really heighten that awareness. And if you're able to improve that, then ultimately you can improve your overall balance and reduce your risk for falling. And I just like that little diagram because in the very center, it's a little blurry, but it says awareness. And I think we need to be aware of not only our physical body, but aware of our spiritual needs, our mental and emotional needs, and some days it's easier than others. Who's ready to try some mindful movement? Woohoo! All right. You can stay seated for the beginning part if you want. You can stand if you want. We're going to go through a little Tai Chi warm-up, so my Tai Chi folks, you will know this quite well. And I know it's a little blurry, but I'll talk you through it. So feel free to stand if you want.
Is that what you suggest?
If you can stand, I would suggest standing. And first, just get your balance. Make sure you feel comfortable. Feel your feet underneath your hips. Relax your knees. Think ankles, knees, hips, shoulders, ears, all stacked. And same thing for seated. Your hips, shoulders, ears. I want you to start with your arms. You're going to breathe in and let those arms float up. And you're going to turn your palms towards your face. And as your palms come in, you're starting to tuck your chin in. So you're getting a nice stretch in the back of your neck. And then you let your hands push away. You can breathe out. Hands away and down. So now that I explained it, I'm going to put the microphone down. So let those hands float up. Breathe. Bring them in. Try to tuck your chin. Let them come back out. And let them come down and feel a nice stretch in the back of your neck. Do it again. Float those hands up. Feel your breath. Bring them in. Let them go out and down. Good. Relax. All right, that's the first one. The next one is getting our head moving sideways. So you're going to gently and carefully turn your head and use your hand. You're going to look to one direction as far as you want to look, and then you'll go to the other direction. And just take your time and try to breathe with the movement, right and left. Let your eyes follow the palm of your hand as you move right and left. Very nice. Moving to those shoulders. We do these often in class, shoulder rolls. Just try to feel those shoulders. Let them lift up and circle forward a few times. You can let those elbows and arms move however you like. Just make sure you feel those shoulders. And then try to reverse that. I especially like going backwards because then you can really feel those shoulder blades. This is good for our posture. And then the next one, we're going to gather the chi. When you see QI, that's chi. So you're going to let those arms float up to the side. Nice big inhale. And then you're pressing down in front of you as you exhale. Take a nice big breath in. Exhale, push. Inhale. Make sure those knees are still soft. Try to be aware. 2 more. Great thing is all these can be done seated, so if your back hurts or you don't feel like standing, you can do it seated. Good. Our spine. So I want you to imagine you have a beach ball. You see in that top left picture, like you're holding a beach ball, one hand on top, one hand on bottom. And you're not squeezing it, you're holding it softly. And you're going to let your spine and that beach ball rotate to one side. And then when you get as far as you want to go, you flip those hands. And then you go all the way to the other side, rotating your spine. And when you get to the end of your movement, wherever it's comfortable, you flip those hands and just go right and left. Breath. Try to be aware of that beach ball right in the middle where your energy is as you're rotating. Either hand, it doesn't matter. There's no perfect beach ball here. Good. Then the other one for your spine is 1B and 2B. You'll see you're having one hand lengthen up, the other hand is going down. But don't just think about those arms reaching, think about your spine. There's a string on your head. And then they come back in the middle, kind of past that beach ball, and switch. So you're coming back. Think of lengthening. Good. And if you have shoulder limitations, you work with your shoulders. You don't have to get that arm all the way up there. You can still lengthen your spine without using your arm. All right, our hips. So this first one, I know you don't have a lot of room in the rows, so be careful, but I like this one because it really makes you think about how to walk properly. When we walk, what do you always hear a physical therapist say? Heel toe, heel ball toe. So you're going to take a little step forward. You can use your left heel since that's what it says. And you're going to go with that heel. You're going to push both hands behind you to help you balance. But if you need to grab your chair, you can. And then you bring that foot behind you. Bring that toe behind you. So you take one heel forward. Then you bring those toes back. So it's the same foot. Heel forward, toe back. And you're lengthening from that hip, which is also good for walking. So it's a heel and a toe. And you can shake it out and try it with the other side. Get the other heel, reach that heel forward. And then the toes back. So we're trying to do opposite with the arms. So as the foot goes forward, arms go back. If your brain doesn't cooperate, just accept it, laugh at it, and try again. Or if you feel like your balance doesn't cooperate with this, then you hold on to something and maybe just do one hand. So remember, there's always ways to modify. Excellent. All right, then the side stretch. So I want you to take your left foot, bring it out to the side a little bit, then your hands come to the right. Yes. Then you're going to shift your weight, bring your hands to the left, and really think of lengthening from that hip down to the outside of that foot, that shoe. Shift your weight. Stretch from the hip. You look so good. Nice. And you can think of kind of wiping those hands through the bottom of a bowl as you come down and over to the other side. Very nice. You're almost there. Your knees, a kick. This one requires a little balance or holding on to something. You can do this with the foot in the air, or you can put the foot on the ground. So it's really getting into those knees. So you're going to, please hold on if you don't feel comfortable. You're going to start with those fists at your hips, and then you try to lift one knee up like you're marching, and then you're kicking. But you're standing on one leg, so that's a lot of balance. So feel free to hold on to something, because we always hold on for safety. So you lift like you're marching, and you kick. So it's best to hold on at first, and then maybe you add one arm to reach with it, keeping one hand on a chair or countertop so you're safe. But this can also be done seated. It's just really getting into that knee joint, warming up those knees, and shifting that weight. All right, I want to be able to do our body scan, so we're going to move along. Ankles. Ankles are so important for balance and walking. So we kind of did this a little bit earlier, but I want you to take your heel in front of you, and then you lift it up and you push those toes down. So it's a heel toe, and you're trying to get really big movement in that ankle. And you can try that on both sides, not at the same time unless you're seated. Good. And then the other fun one for our ankles is moving. If this was my foot, you're trying to move your foot out and in. You're trying to go to the outside of your shoe, the inside. This is inversion and eversion. And you may notice you can move more one way than the other. You're normal. And if it hurts, don't force it. Try both sides. As we lose that lateral mobility in our ankle, if we lose balance and our ankles can't recover, then it's much easier to fall, because then our hips have to take over. If our hips aren't mobile, then we're really going to fall. So fall prevention relies on many, many things. Who wants to try a body scan? Yay. Okay, you can sit back down. Thank you for trying all that. So that's a Tai Chi warm-up. If you have not participated in yoga or Tai Chi and you want to try, there are several opportunities. So make sure you look at the back of your Pathways Fitness or your Pathways monthly calendar. It's also on the portal. But we have 2 yoga classes. Right now, Chris teaches both of them. Hers is a more meditative style. For those that like Kathy's style, we do have 2 new videos on the portal if you prefer her style of yoga. And then Tai Chi, we meet on Tuesday and Thursday. And if you really want to try it, but you are intimidated by, well, they already know everything and I can't learn all those moves, you'll notice on the schedule there's a class that says Tai Chi Form, and there's a class called Tai Chi Flow. So I would recommend, if you've never tried it or you're kind of haven't done it in a while, start with the Tai Chi Flow. Would you agree? It's a great place to start, gets you comfortable with the movements, really helps you start to build that awareness. But then you can jump into that Tai Chi form anytime. Remember to be patient with yourself. You're not going to know everything they know, but you just jump in and learn and do what you can. All right, let's try our body scan. So get comfortable. Again, you'll listen to the prompts.
Welcome to this 3-minute guided body scan. Start by sitting comfortably with a straight back and close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths in and out to ground you in this moment, feeling your breath as it enters your body and as it leaves your body. As the breath flows in, follow it in. Then as the breath flows out, follow it through to its completion. With each out-breath, let your body become heavy, sinking deeper into your chair. Now bring your attention to your head, feeling into your scalp, the forehead, and temples. Observe your eyes, cheeks, your ears, jaw, and chin. Breathing in and out, letting all tensions release. Now lower your focus to the neck and shoulders, letting them soften. Bring awareness to your arms, extending it down towards the wrists, the palms, and fingers, observing any sensations that arise on the surface of the skin or deeper within. Now come to the chest and torso area. being aware of the abdomen, then bringing your awareness around to the back, observing your upper back and lower back. And if you notice any intensity here, try directing the breath into those areas, letting them soften. Then bring your attention to your pelvis and hips, and scanning the legs, the ankles, the feet, and the toes. Direct your breath into these areas, relaxing into stillness. Notice how paying attention to the entire length of your body feels. Then, when you're ready, bring your attention back to the room and slowly open your eyes. Enjoy this relaxed, peaceful state and take it with you into your day.
Are your arms supposed to be in your lap?
Whatever's comfortable.
And what about, are your legs stretched out or are they bent?
You can do this. The question was, where are your arms and your legs? You can do it seated. You can do it laying down in your bed. So it's really whatever's comfortable. And then whatever position you choose, really doing that scan and being aware of your body and what you're feeling. I hope you enjoyed your first body scan if you've never done one. And then we won't do a full progressive muscle relaxation, but to feel the difference between the body scan you just did, she did mention, trying to soften things or relax, but the difference with the progressive muscle relaxation, if you put some tension in your toes, curl your toes up really tight and try to feel the muscles in your feet. Get them really, 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 really tense, and then relax it. Might not be as easy to do in your shoes, but this is a good one to do, again, laying down or in bed with your shoes off. Really curl the toes up, feel every muscle you can feel in the feet, and then relax it. And you can do that from the feet up or starting from the head down, tensing your muscles and letting go, but not holding your breath. That can affect your blood pressure, so please don't do that. And then I'll leave you with my one little quote that I found that I like. Take a walk outside. It will serve you far more than pacing around in your mind. Any other questions, comments? So I do have, yes.
Is this a certain site that we could go to get this?
I will put the PowerPoint slides on the portal. Are you on the portal? Mm-hmm. Yes, so I can put the links. The links will have to be separate. But I found if you go to YouTube, if you're comfortable with your iPad, iPhone, computers, if you go to YouTube and type meditation, good luck. There's plenty of things. So just start exploring. I did use the Calm, which last week the doctor mentioned, the Calm app. I think they have a free version for a little bit, and then you might have to pay, but the YouTube videos are free. You can type in specific things like body scan or progressive muscle relaxation if there's something you want to try. And there's 3-minute ones, there's 20-minute ones. So you kind of pick what works for your schedule and what you want to do. So I do have 3 handouts. I'll place them up here. I'm glad you're here today. I hope you learned something or tried something new, and you can take this into your day and your week. Then come back next week and we can report maybe something we've tried or how it helped us this week. So thank you all. Have a great afternoon.